As English teachers, we're always looking for ways to help our students improve. We study complex methodologies, prepare elaborate activities, and bring energy and excitement to every lesson. It's a lot of work. But what if I told you there was one simple thing you could do that would transform your students' learning? I'm Will from Enchanted ESL, and in this video we're talking about organic acquisition. I'll explain what it is, why it's awesome, and how you can apply it with confidence. Now, you probably haven't heard the term organic acquisition before. It's a rather technical sounding name that I invented to describe something that's actually really simple. Essentially, it means grabbing language, usually vocabulary, when it arises in an organic or natural situation. Let's say a student is describing all of the exciting things that happened over their weekend. They went to the theme park and went on a lot of oh no, they don't know the word roller coaster. What we have here is an organic situation where the student is lacking language. Now, what a teacher would normally do is supply the word or ask another student if they know it. And you should do that. But if you leave it there, you're missing out on an opportunity. You can capture that word, write it down and add it to a bank of vocabulary that you can learn in the future. This works for both spoken and written language, anytime a student is trying to express themselves. However, it is much more common when speaking. In this way, students acquire new language. But the crucial point is, it happens organically, not forced by the teacher. Why? Because it's language the student needs to express themselves. They're invested in knowing that word. It has immediate value, and giving words value is super important when remembering vocab. I explain value in more detail in my video Hacking the Mind, which you should definitely go check out if you haven't already. Links up there and down in the description. When the brain perceives something as valuable, it dedicates more resources to making a strong mental connection. And organically acquired words come with value already attached. You don't need to create any. Plus, they come in a relatable context. What's more, this method gives students agency. When students have control over their learning, they're much more motivated. They'd rather learn things they care about than what the teacher forces on them. And it allows you to do more free-form expressive activities without worrying that students aren't learning anything new. I find free conversation and role-playing activities create many organic moments. But what if you're following a rigid curriculum with required word lists? You can't just wait around for those words to organically arise. No, but you can increase their likelihood. If you're teaching transport, start a conversation about different ways of getting around and provoke some ideas. Students will suggest different options, some of which they won't have the word for. For example, that thing that's like a train that goes on the street. Ah, you mean a tram? Let's write that down. And if you want to structure the activity so the words are guaranteed to come up, use elicitation techniques. They lose a bit of organic magic, but they still create value for students. Check out my video on how to use elicitation up there and in the description. So with this method, all you have to do is write down every word that the student doesn't know when they're speaking or writing, okay? Well, not exactly. You don't want to capture every single word. Some of them just aren't appropriate. They may be ones that the students definitely know, but they just can't think of right now. Or they might be so obscure that they never need to learn them. When I started using organic acquisition, I remember playing a tabletop role-playing game with lots of fighting and adventure, and the word halberd came up. I added that to our bank of vocabulary, and now those students know the word halberd. But is it useful? Not really. I'm not sure if even half of native English speakers know what it is. By the way, it's this strange weapon. Anyway, the point is, filter out words that aren't particularly useful. Another thing to think about is how frequently you capture those words. Every time you stop to write down the word, you're slowing that student's expression. It's fine to do every now and then, but if you overdo it, students will get overwhelmed and they'll lose that confidence in speaking. I recommend you dedicate part of the whiteboard or have an easy to access sheet so you can quickly write the words down. You want it to be as quick as possible. And if you have advanced, mature students, you could get one of them to be the scribe. And finally, don't lose the words. Take a photo of the board or keep the sheet in a safe place for future use. Because the next step of this process is for students to start memorizing those words. There's no point capturing them if students will never learn them. But memorization is tricky. Fortunately, I found some brilliant techniques for making words stick, and one of them is activating the visual mind. So find out how I use images and pictures to teach vocab in this video here. But for now, I've been Will from Enchanted ESL, wishing you all the joy and success in your teaching. See ya!